green-white without some of, like, just the way it's positioned in general, I still feel like he's not directly going for Delver, and because of that, I like the more powerful deck, which I believe Adam's playing in this matchup.
Finally, 3 versus 6, Caleb Durward with Nyapod versus Blake Kettle with Naya Humans. I think we both agree that it's likely that Pod is going to win it again, but the Naya Humans is more aggressive than a lot of these other decks, so I think he has the possibility to pull it out, but I think just without looking at the deck list directly, I would give it to Caleb to begin with.
Right. In general here, I think that you might be right, the Esper deck has a little bit of trouble in the first round. I think the Pod decks are very well positioned in this top 8. They're doing a lot of what the other decks are doing. We have 6 Birds of Paradise decks in this top 8.
To note, wow, there are no, the Naya Humans list is definitely a Lightning Mauler, Silverblade Paladin deck.
Oh, okay. So we're
talking about Naya Humans. It's actually the human list.
Okay, quick prediction before we get to our matchup. I'm going to predict to win the entire thing. I like Caleb Durward's deck. He's playing a Nyapod deck, and he's not just playing kind of like... So there's 2 philosophies on Pod. There's the Brian Kibler philosophy, where it's like, I'm going to play this aggro deck, and I'm going to play a Birthing Pod, and I'm going to get some good value off this Birthing Pod. And then there's the second philosophy, which is, I'm going to Pod into Elishnorn, and I'm going to play really big things and make this Pod terrifying. Caleb's are the second philosophy, and in the all Birds of Paradise top 8, I don't know if he has a bad matchup in here.
I think Caleb will probably end up winning it, but the thing I'm going to say is that even though I think Caleb is going to win it, I want Mike to win with Dungrove Elder. Okay, right. And we've got Adam and Austin waiting for us, so let's let him go to it. There is Adam, you can see on the right, with quote-unquote mono blue. He does not have any white spells main, but he does have white mana because he has Moorland Haunts.
He's going to probe here. So a pretty strong start from Austin Fritz. He's got his mana creature into a Birthing Pod, which is something that really Adam typically can't let resolve in game 1. When you play Delver, if you have a very fast draw, you can let Pod resolve. But once Pod resolves, you've essentially resigned yourself to saying, like, in about 7 turns, I'm going to lose this game. Especially game 1, because you don't have a way to remove it. So, so remember, he also has a turn 2 sword to make if he's worried about any sort of counter spell. What's cool about Adam Prosak's deck is that Augur Bolus as a 1/3 is actually a very good card. It's in a lot of ways what he's looking for against these kind of aggressive decks. Austin Fritz's singleton Birthing Pod, though, presents a threat here. Prosak ponders, does not shuffle. Pretty typical there.
And there's a 1-drop.
There's the Pilgrim that we knew about. So remember, he has a second land, another mana creature, and as Prosak knows...
Augur?
Yep.
If he does not have a gut shot, he'd be happy to find one.
He's reading it. He better find a gut shot if he doesn't have one. Otherwise, there's going to be I imagine a Birthing Pod on the other side of the board.
He's like, can I get this while you read that? Okay, thank you.
Taxing Probe. I think it's the only one in there, judging by the speed with which he found it. And gut shot's in
the
hand.
Gut shot. One of the things, I have been playing a lot of different Bird Elf decks. Gut shot is the card that makes me just wish that something was different, and it won't take very long, only a couple of months, and something will be different.
Yeah. There'll be no more Birthing Pod. That's going to be different.
Oh, well. I don't mind Birthing Pod going away. Phyrexian mana makes me frown.
And Blade Splicer. Second force from Austin. Remember, Austin did not, in his opening hand, as far as you know, does not have any more lands and does not have another color of mana. I think he may have a Razor Verge. Nah, that wouldn't make sense if he had a Razor Verge Thicket. He would have cast it. I'm not positive if he has any more land sources.
What you got?
All right, let's find out. No, he drew Thrag Tusk. Scary here. Just a single Snapcaster Mage right now could be a big issue for Austin. You know, these decks really, you know, if a parade of gut shots starts on Adam's side of the board, it can be really devastating for Austin's kind of deck. All right, we've got to catch up for lost time. He has spent 6 of his own life and might even spend more. Third land, and he's going to cast Delver's Secrets. I believe that's... No, with the draw off the Taxing Probe, he doesn't know the top card of his deck anymore. So this isn't a rigged Delver. He's representing Mana Leak on the pod.
There's some pretty forests over there from Austin Fritz.
Yeah, they're beta forests.
That's right.
So Austin a little choked on mana, and this is where Delver really can punish decks.
No.
All of Delver's answers cost less mana than the threats they answer. So when the other guy's stuck on mana, the way you beat it by overloading on threats. When you're stuck on mana, this is a very dangerous position to be in.
Now imagine that Austin did not have a gut shot hit his creature. He'd have 4 mana is so much more than 3. It's just kind of crazy how much more mana it actually feels like.
Yeah.
Blade Splicer in hand, Birthing Pod in hand,
Well, all those 3 drops.
Sword of
yeah.
Feast and Famine.
And he knew about. We know the 4th one is Thrag Tusk, so Blade Splicer will go down. And yep, Mana Leak will. I'm pretty sure Prosak was Mana Leaking whatever Austin tried for there. So now he knows that his hand: Thrag Tusk, Sword, and Birthing Pod. Delver not going to flip. Sometimes he's a quite annoying fellow that way. Sometimes he's completely broken because he flips right away. And he's
Thought Scour Self.
himself main phase, looking to see.
And we have the draw. Another land from Adam. It looks like a Moorland Haunt, but I can't quite tell.
Yep,
Okay, there
yep,
we
it's
are,
a
Moorland
Moorland
Haunt.
Yeah, despite being in the mono blue Delver deck, he does play 2 Moorland Haunts anyway. Only 3 Glacial Fortress though, not 4. Really, the blue mana. I don't know.
I mean, he doesn't
Islands are
really
good.
have any just any reason to play more than that without hurting his mana a little bit more.
So casting another Delver. The main phase Scour for running last times, yeah. Especially when you're just trying to dig for extra things, the first thing you'll do before making a land drop on a turn is scour yourself, in the same way that you'd ponder before doing anything. So Prosak's not gonna, eventually he's not gonna be able to answer this, stop this Birthing Pod from coming down. His hope is that by the time he does it, that he'll have enough control on the board that he won't care.
Well, rather that I would say not control so much as by the time he does
Speed.
it, that enough speed. Because I mean, right now at this point, if Adam's Delvers don't flip, he might just fall behind what Austin can do.
Right, I mean, so he's got to set up the Delver flip, but once he does, it's just lightning fast.
I mean, right now we're looking at 3 damage a turn, which is a 6-turn clock. Flips, and we're looking at 7 damage a turn.
Which, and he probably has a Vapor Snag and a Snapcaster, so it's like a 2-turn clock. Or something, it wouldn't be surprising if there's something like that hiding out.
Now, Austin has some things to think about. Sword of Feast and Famine and Birthing Pod are definite cards he can cast. He starts out with Sword of Feast and Famine. Does it work? Looks like it's resolving. And another bird.
Alright, pass it back.
The coast. This is a kind of a communication that the coast is clear in some ways. Flip?
Not
No.
the instant. Alright.
Ooh.
Reprieve here for Austin Fritz. He'll deal 3. So if the flip's next turn, it's still a 2-turn clock. Well, yeah, that's not entirely certain
Sword of
anymore.
War and Peace. 1 mana
Right.
open. Now, a equip here does play into a Gut Shot, does play into a Vapor Snag, plays into... I guess that's all that there are
The
for...
Gut Shot's fine because he can re-equip.
This is true. The Vapor Snag would be
The
pretty
Vapor
devastating.
Snag's not okay.
Now, honestly, just dropping a Thrag Tusk right now is not a terrible
Yeah.
play.
The Gut Shot's probably not there. I mean, if you have the Gut Shot, you just don't even let him you just Gut Shot a bird. It would have happened a while ago. We know he didn't draw one because he didn't flip his Delvers.
Actually, do you prefer the Thrag Tusk here or the Birthing Pod? I think I prefer the Thrag Tusk right now. Oh, a Johnny in hand.
I mean, the
Interesting.
thing about Thrag Tusk is that even if this happens,
I don't like that at all.
well, his hands, yeah, a Johnny Caller of the Pride Hand, that's not a card right now. So he can swing, untap his lands, play pod into... I don't really want to pod into a 2-drop here, actually. That's fine. So he does have, and Snag's backbreaking there.
Ouch. Just a... Oh, God.
God, that's just gross, yeah.
I mean...
And that's what Delver does.
But I mean, it didn't have to have done that.
Sure. I don't...
That's what Delver can do to punish someone for when they play certain...
Yeah, I mean, it's not... Yeah, I mean, you'd want to play Thragtusk there instead, but Thragtusk still isn't winning the race.
I don't know about that.
I mean, no. I mean, I still don't think it races. I think if the Delvers flip, it still doesn't race Sword of War and Peace efficiently.
I think it gets a long way to going towards that.
Sure. I mean, I guess the fact that he can pod at the next turn is pretty good.
Well, the fact that he can...
I don't know.
Like, attack for 5 and then lay the pod down?
Delver,
like...
yeah, Delver's really cool that way. That sometimes it just races stuff. I mean, these guys are 3/2 flyers sometimes. It's cool. Anyway, but yeah, Fritz is
There's just no
let
reason
him
to make that
forward.
play unless you were the greediest of greedy. There are certain moments where greed is good.
All right.
This was not one of
all
them.
3. And he's got a. Does he? If he takes this all,
He's only got 2 cards in hand, right?
5. That's 7 damage if he takes it, plus a 2
a lot of
point life
damage.
gain from Adam.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's 8. 8 damage.
Yeah, he has 3 cards in hand. Alright, so yeah, both the swing in here. So if you're Austin, what you're trying to do, I suppose, is you're trying to kind of continue to play threats while not... Yeah, you need to draw land. There's a lot you need to do, so...
Was that an open... Was that a land that comes into play untapped? If it was, he's actually not in the roughest. He's still in rough, but...
I mean, he's still in rough because if once the top card of Adam's deck's an instant or sorcery, like, this is very bad for him. Which it will happen eventually.
So I see Pod, I see a Johnny, I see Thragtusk, I see something.
Yeah. Not a land. Prosak's going to take this one.
Again, we go back to that Thragtusk turn. Last turn, I mean...
Okay, it is an untapped land. Alright.
I think he's going to repeat the same greedy play.
Well, he's got to. What else does he do?
I don't know that he has to.
Okay. I mean, if there's a Vapor Snag in Prosak's hand, I don't really... I'm hard-pressed to believe that there's lines where Austin can win this. You know, wait, Delver's flip, snag the birds, kill him. Like, there's a lot of things that are really dicey if he has a snag. Can't play Birthing Pod here. You don't have the life points for it. So the only cards in his hand, he can't cast a Johnny because that requires tapping both birds and it'd be terrible in general. So like the only cards in his hand really is Thragtusk.
One thing that we do have to point out, both of these players have access to each other's deck lists. They have looked at each other's decks.
Oh god, alright, Snap. And Snapcaster on the gut shot. I mean, you can't play around things like that because you're just dead to Snapcaster Mage. I mean... But I mean, yeah, it's terrible for Austin that happened. And yeah, Austin concedes.
There we go.
Prosak. So Prosak up 1-0.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Okay.
All right.
So, for one of the things that happens in every top 8 that we do, in every round of the top 8, is that we give away some prizes.
Yeah,
so if you have been watching all of this time for the past, I guess, year and a half or so that we've been doing SCG Live, what we do is we ask a trivia question, and one lucky contestant out there who correctly answers the trivia question, and they put their answer to the hashtag right there, SCG Premium,
by the bird.
will get the prize for the round.
SCG Premium, not...
Now, SCG Premium, that hashtag is what you need to have to be eligible, along with the correct answer. Amongst those people, one person is chosen at random.
So
and the prize, though. The prize for this round, 3 free months of Star City Games Premium.
Okay.
Right, you can't quite see him, but if you looked right over here, you'd see a SCG Premium writer who is sitting and watching along with all of you. Getting, I think, articles that, even if you are the curmudgeonliest curmudgeon, you're like, I don't like any of those articles. It's important, if you are a tournament player, to be reading SCG Premium, if only to get the idea of what everyone's concept of what's happening in Magic is. To get deck lists so that you can be like, gosh, I think this person is copying Jerry Thompson's list from such and such. And if you're right and you know that deck list, it can help you win. So I'm a big fan of winning. Read SCG Premium. Good times.
So let's do a question then. So the question we're kind of trying to theme the questions. The one today.
He's the question man today.
Yeah. So we're more in the questions. We're gonna ask you stuff. Last night there was an interesting panel. If you watched the one, it was streamed at Comic-Con about some stuff from, you know, the upcoming set, Return to Ravnica. And one of the, we're going to ask you, you know, you can find all this stuff, it's all been posted, but you have to find it on your own. So the 3-month question we're going to ask you is that they've announced the name of our second set in the Return to Ravnica block. And so we would like you to tweet the name of the second set of this block.
So what's after Return to Ravnica? Tweet your answers to hashtag SCG Premium. One lucky person amongst those who answers it correctly with that hashtag will get 3 free months of Star City Games Premium, and we will announce that at the end of this match.
All right. So
now, let's go back to the match in hand and
talk about some sideboarding.
So Austin Fritz, what is he going to do? What's he going to bring in here? I think that...
Well, he's got to have a plan for this matchup. I mean...
I agree.
It's not like you're surprised by
honestly, I do like some Ratchet Bombs. Ratchet Bombs are a very good answer to early Delvers. and they can make someone not even want to flip their Delvers, which is a positive thing to be doing.
He has Sword of Body in mind as one of his swords. That's probably pretty good. It's pro blue. This is a very blue heavy version. He did put a mental misstep in the board, which we were talking about last round. That was pretty peculiar. But I mean,
it does stop a Vapor Snag. Just one Vapor Snag can go away, and it can stop a Delver from being on the table right away. And now, the problem, of course, with a card like Mental Misstep is that with lots of the cards like Ponder, Vapor Snag, all of that, since there are Snapcasters here, you can stop the one, and then the second time around, it'll still happen.
Yeah, a lot of his cards in general are, in the main deck, are designed to be pretty good against Delver in the first place. So he's trying to sneak a very low curve in. You could talk about possibly looking at a card like, I don't know. Those are the ones like you could maybe board in a card like Sigarda. That's one if it manages to resolve is good against Delver, but it's a lot of mana. I'm not. Yeah, it depends whether or not Prosak tries to go big in this matchup.
Cards I like for Prosak, the Gut Shot, absolutely auto-include. And then I also really like Phantasmal Image when you're playing against a deck you can assume has Strangleroot Geist.
The question is if he boards in Restoration Angel in this matchup. So
one of the reasons to consider not Restoration Angel is he only has 7 white sources in his deck.
Well, he has it in his board, yeah. We can look at that. We can look at Dismember as well. In the matchup, a lot, I think, with Dismember, for me boarding it in, I would look at, Austin does play Restoration Angels, which is the 4 in the main, which is one of the great card that Dismember is very good against.
Yeah. And there are, as you can see in the sideboard, Hero of Bladehold. Now, Adam might have the deck list, but he does not know how Austin is going to sideboard. So, that is a potential extra reason to think about it, because maybe Austin is the kind of player that will bring in a hero. I don't know that that's what Austin wants, but that Dismember does provide an answer to that question. Okay, so we continue.
Okay, so Austin will be on the play. All right. Yeah, so with those plans, I still like, we're talking about, Prosak's deck we really like, or I at least like in this sort of matchup. The fact that Augur Bolus has made his deck a little bit cheaper, I think is really strong in this matchup. Talrand, Austin Fritz does not run much removal at all. So a Talrand has the potential to make, to go out of control if he resolves
I mean,
one.
We've absolutely seen Talrand just explode all over, where you're like, oh, that is 6 Drakes. Okay, well, I don't have any answers except for one of my 2 Miracle cards here, and I didn't Miracle it. Adam Prosak now down to 6 cards. Yeah, I mean, I'm replaying that first game in my head, and even if you attach the Sword of Feast and Famine to the bird and hit, I don't even know if that's actually a very exciting line of play as compared to putting down a Thrag Tusk when you know it's going to resolve.
Yeah.
I mean, then after that, you put down the Thrag Tusk when you know it's going to resolve, and then you follow that up, and on the next turn, you can potentially equip it with the Sword of Feast and Famine if you want, and if he Vapor Snags it, then you still get a Beast.
Right. It's a strong play. You can't really, that's why Thrag Tusk is appealing against Delver decks, because there aren't good ways to answer Thrag Tusk.
Yeah, once it's in play.
Right.
First turn, Avacyn's Pilgrim. Let's see if Prosak has one of the millions of gut shots. We do see a Gitaxian Probe.
Another excellent keep from Austin. 3 lands. He has the turn 2 sword. He has the turn 2 Strangleroot Geist, which he'll do instead of the sword. And a Dismember for potential.
Maybe he'll do it. I wouldn't mind dropping the turn 2 sword, just getting it on the table.
If Prosak plays a Delver, I'll almost certainly go Geist Dismember. If I'll put the sword on the table, there's a lot of good plays here. It stops. The Dismember is good for insurance against Prosak, just like early flipping a Delver, which I like.
And Ponder.
He sees, I believe he is shuffling immediately. Didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah, he's like, nope. Whatever it was, that was a big nope. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan, and I'm here with Matthias Hunt. This is the first round of the Star City Games Live Open Series Top 8. We're in the quarterfinals here. On the right, Adam Prosak up 1-0 versus Austin Fritz. It's Adam Prosak's quote-unquote mono blue wizards. You can see there's some white mana there. All of his whites in the sideboard, and Austin Fritz with white-green aggro. An infinite amount of time is left in this round, but they still have to play at a reasonable pace.
Looks like another sword was drawn by Austin. This one of the Feast Famine kind. He's just, so he's got Sword of Body in mind. It does give him the potential next turn to make a Strangleroot Geist and make a pro-blue Strangleroot Geist.
I'm a fan of it. Yeah. That seems reasonable to me.
Another Seachrome Coast, and you'll pass back.
And another land for Austin.
Lands are fine here.
Oh yeah, I wasn't knocking on lands.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So you can try to so go for Strangleroot
Geist. Does it work? And
Prosak
what
at
say
least has to
you,
pause
Adam?
Here to represent a mana leak, but or I would, but yeah, I mean the problem is that even so, a land and the sword's going to end up on a creature at the end of this turn unless he has a gut shot anyway.
He equips it.
All right, now we will likely see
Steel Sabotage.
A turn too late.
Bouncy, bouncy.
So he might, if he has a Snapcaster Mage, he might be holding onto that to try to stop the sword from coming back down.
And that leaves him the ability to do it. 3 mana.
Yeah. Razorverge Thicket now for Fritz, so lands in a little bit of an awkward order, but that's okay.
Now, given that you know that there's a possibility of Snapcaster or Steel Sabotage, do you just attack before, even if you had the land, do you attack before bothering to cast a sword?
I mean, why not cast this? What else are you doing?
You're stopping the ability of the Snapcaster Steel Sabotage from being a total blowout.
So, because then it can block one of your creatures, I suppose?
Yeah.
You trade the Snapcaster with my Strangleroot Geist. I don't suppose I really care that much about it. I'd call him on it. Okay.
Show me you got it.
I mean, okay, so worst case scenario, he counters it, and then your Strangleroot trades with his Snapcaster. I'm okay with that. He did mulligan. It's possible he just kept a bad hand. Okay.
And here's...
Let's have it. Sure. I might have gone for the worst of my 2 swords. If I think he has a War Piece as the other one. I might have just gone with the War Piece.
In for 2. Tap land, go.
If you're going to not play the sword pre-combat, I think then your play might just be to not play any sword at that point. But which problem is Prosak's probably fine with that. You're not dealing enough damage to make him scared of you doing that. All right.
The Pilgrim sits back.
Yeah.
Or sits. Yeah, there is a Augur. What you got over there? Lion, Ponder.
Get a Ponder.
And I couldn't see what the last one was, but he took the Ponder. Okay, the only target he could get. Another Augur. Image, land, image.
This one
all
misses.
To the bottom.
This one's a Lumen Grid Warden.
There are 24 potential targets in his main deck. So and after
that
board,
puts you on a 40%.
Perhaps 27 that we know about.
Yeah, so for you to miss there, that's like you're about 21% to miss on that.
And with 2 of them?
No, I mean just on one of them. It's 27.
I understand,
but
then missing with 2.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, between the 2 of them, having one of them miss.
Okay.
Gotta be like.
So to have one of them miss, sure. I mean, all right, it's gonna be 9/25. That one of them would that at least one would miss.
Right.
So you're at
36%.
like 36% that one of them misses.
Sword number 2. It's a pretty good sword.
All right, sword equips to Strangleroot Geist, and yeah,
Dead Augur.
Guy. Can't actually let that equip. That hit. This is one of the situations where I said like I would have baited with the worst sword, and I think right here is wide.
Now imagine if a Talran hits the table.
And the problem with that play is it does tell Adam you have another sword if you try to bait with the worst.
Sometimes, you know what? Yeah, sometimes though you just don't know. Like, pardon me. We've got our first report in from the top 8. Caleb has won the quarterfinal match. That is a Naya Pod versus Naya Humans.
Yeah, so
Caleb on top.
Caleb, like, it kind of was my early prediction to take down. Remember that he will play the winner of this match. He's playing a big Naya Pod deck, so like all Worm Coils, Elesh Norns, the whole deal.
And that is a 2-0 victory.
We have Talrand here.
Oh boy, now that sword feels like it's the sad sword.
And I think if you're Caleb, you've got to be cheering for Austin to win this matchup. Austin's is a great matchup for you. Prosak, not as much.
Now, interesting, we have also the hero. Dungrovelder is up 1 game versus Esper midrange.
All right. So that Talrand's in play, and immediately Jataxian Probe will make a Drake.
Yikes. And
this is where Talrand, like I said, white green not without much removal.
Dismember for Talrand. Get out of there.
Yeah.
Here's my hand. I got a Strangleroot Geist.
Remember that Austin, for those of you who Austin does not get an opportunity to kill the Talrand before a Drake comes into play.
There's that pesky passing priority thing that you don't do until you're ready.
Right.
Cast it. I'll kill it. Well, you can't yet. I've still got priority.
I still have priority. All right, Austin tanking here. Man, still wish that sword was the other one. But he has a township active, and he has a decent amount of creatures going on. The township kind of awkward with the Strangleroot Geist in that it removes its
he has in his
Undying.
hand? What? Wait.
It's another Strangleroot Geist.
No, the card he
one.
drew. I think that's
know.
a sword.
Well, that would be. It's a sword of body. I mean, it can't be the right kind of sword. He only plays 1 body in mind, and it's in the board, and it's in the graveyard. So.
Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Oh, I'm seeing it totally Rancor. Oh, Doctor.
That is very real, though.
Oh, Doctor. Yeah. If he had a sort of body in mind, he wouldn't even be able to do this.
Then he'd put it on the wolf token. I don't know.
Oh, Lord. And he can pump up if he wants. This is exciting. Oh, Magic. How come he's such a great game?
I know, he just played, Augur Bolus, really good against Strangleroot Geists that don't have swords and Rancors on them.
Oh, boy. That guy is a big guy.
Yeah, let's just go for
in
it.
for 6, maybe 7.
I like this. He's keeping a Strangleroot Geist in hand because I think he feels pretty powerful here. The life gain is what he actually wants out of it. It's only 1 point, but I like that.
1 point matters.
I mean, yeah.
And he's doing some counting.
Just 2 cards in Prosak's hand, so yeah. Problem is Prosak, it's going to be hard for him to deal with this Strangleroot Geist. He's going to need a Vapor Snag. And then
Cast
the
it after
post-combat.
And then moving over the sword, it looks like.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. You're probably going to move the sword back to the Rancored guy next turn. Like, do you actually want it somewhere else? Because now you can't township next turn. I wouldn't move it.
Everything else
It. Yeah.
And Ponder.
Sort of one piece of his own.
Sword.
You can put it on the Drake. But you don't have is that card a land? Does he have a land?
No.
Does he have a
Paper
snag? Okay, well, snag's good too. That's fine.
Snag is good too.
Yeah.
I agree.
You can play the sword, then you can snag. Yeah, you're still kind of in this.
I mean, he's backed into a corner. He's got plays. He's got good cards, but he is running out of time.
Yep. This Rancor card is putting being really
whoever
pesky.
thought of the card Rancor? Ooh, that's a sick one.
I know. Now, I believe there's a confirmed story that originally when Rancor was designed, it was intended to cost 3 mana. There's a cycle of cards that all do this from the set, but it was like inadvertently printed at 1 instead of 3.
Makes it fair.
Well, I mean, they have since now printed it like intentionally as a card that costs 1. But I believe that was part of the initial printing of it.
And Adam says, you know what? These cards are no good. Let's find a new one. I suppose you could say that there are 3 new ones on top. There we go.
Yeah, there are 3 new ones on top. You just
new
don't get to
ones.
know what the other ones are yet.
Hey, what do I get to find out? Whatever I drew. Okay.
Yeah, Rancor actually is part of an entire cycle. The other cards just aren't. Yeah.
And here comes the Drake. Dragon's Breath is one of my favorite ones from that cycle.
Is that? I think that's a different cycle.
Is it?
That's I think
I'm
that's
wrong.
That's
not the same
cycle. Where
cycle.
all
That's a different cycle.
They don't all cost 3, but I believe Rancor was supposed to cost 3.
Phantasmal Image is copying a Strangleroot Geist.
All right, so,
Remember?
So imaging a Geist, yeah. I mean, and then he's gonna have it. I don't know. You could image a Snapcaster and get a Ponder out of the deal. He has a Vapor Snag, so Prosak in a lot more of an explosive position right now than it actually looks like.
Yeah, the breaths and all of that was a different cycle later on.
Yeah, those are from Scourge.
Yeah. It's all so long ago. It feels like the same era.
The cards looked different back then.
Back in my day, we used to actually have tap written all out on the cards.
On your mono artifacts.
You had to read it. Despondency.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So Austin Fritz recapping. All right, swinging both Strangleroot Geists, one with a Sword of War and Peace, one with a Rancor. Recall Prosak's at 4, but he has a Vapor Snag in hand, which we're about to see. That's going to get rid of the one with Rancor on it. And that's going to give Prosak the chance to undie his Phantasmal Image, I think, as a Snapcaster Mage, 3/2 Snapcaster Mage, and give his, I believe he makes his play, bounces the Strangleroot Geist, undies the Phantasmal Image as a Snapcaster Mage after it blocks this, and then give this Vapor Snag flashback a second time, and then use it on end step. I mean, because then it... Oh, he's in a Restoration Angel.
That was a nice draw.
Instead.
that was a good one.
Well, now it can undie as a Restoration Angel, getting rid of the Snapcaster Mage, flickering the Snapcaster Mage, which he's going to do. Right.
Similar position.
And Vapor Snag, yeah. All right. That's actually kind of better for Prosak than what he was originally planning. I think on end step, if you snag away the Restoration Angel, you can swing for 6, which I guess is not 11. Yeah, it's a start.
Take 1.
Yep. Fritz drops to 10. Prosak with 6 unanswered in the air. If he has a Sword of War and Peace on top of his deck, he wins. It's a kind of a big if, but you know. Just slam it if it's there. I don't think it is. Has an active Moorland Haunt, but Sword of War and Peace gives Pro White. It's sort of feast and famine.
Not terrible.
Okay, so he puts it on. If he puts it on Snapcaster Mage, that's lethal.
He's doing some counting.
That's lethal. That's 10. Yeah, that should be game. 4, 8, 10. In for the exact. That's it. Fritz is going to confirm it, but yeah. Sword draw there, pretty good. And I think Prosak's going to be moving
there
on.
It is.
There's the handshake.
2-0.
2-0. Adam Prosak defeats Austin Fritz. Tomorrow morning, he will be facing off against Caleb Durward in the semifinals.
Yeah, there was an opening there to use that Rancor, kill the image, and then he loses the Rancor. But you know what? He's alive.
He
just didn't make it happen. So
maybe, yeah, you got to pull yourself back from that when that happens. You know, especially in a high pressure match, these sort of things happen. So we'll see how he comes back from it. Mike does get to be on the play for Game 3. You know, what it sounded like is that he had a Predator's Ulfenwald tracker going and then let it get away from him at that point. Both players, looks like we have the 60 sleeve mirror here. Maybe, no, one's darker than the other.
The 60 sleeve mirror, I like that.
Alright. Both red, though. Alright, Alakala first, he's on the play. And we have a mulligan for Alakala. And Jansen will be keeping. So Jansen, having lost the first game, pulled the second game out, a very long game, now coming up, looking to be in a powerful position starting game 3. Maybe he'll pull back the match and then join the top 4. Remember, the winner of this will play Lance Barons, one of our overall 1 seed and one of our 2 undefeated players in the top 4 tomorrow morning. Lance is playing Red-Green Aggro. Between these two, I have to feel like Timothy probably likes his Red-Green Aggro matchup.
Now, this is not Timothy's first time in an open top 8. He was in a top 8 months ago in St. Louis as well.
Yeah, our last trip to St. Louis, he top 8'd there also in Standard. That time he was playing Grixis Control, so no stranger to Standard Opens here in St. Louis.
Now let's see if Mike can find a better hand this time. Timothy, one of the things I feel like is very tired being a judge in the background. the yawning head judge.
Yeah.
This has been a long day. We started Magic at about 13 hours ago.
Yeah.
So
a Mike going down to 5 cards.
Oh boy! And as has been said in the past, that is the game of Magic. You can win from 5 cards. It's not as easy as it is with 7.
No. I mean, he can still turn to a Predator Ooze and have Timothy have no answers to it. There are plays here that could still get him into it, but no, 5 is a lot worse than 7. Absolutely.
As they say sometimes, you get that football across the goal line, that's a touchdown.
Yeah. All right, Mike leads out on a Forest. Timothy on Evolving Wilds will pass it back. Brings back to Mike.
Unexciting for Mike to have no turn 1 Accelerator. Turn 2 Geist is the backup.
Yeah, if he can curve this into a solid 3-drop, he's got himself a shot. Jansen will drop down to 18. And finding, I believe, a swamp.
When I'm playing, I'll call it cardboard Magic, I can't help it. Every time that I sack one of those lands, I always unconsciously go to mark my life down.
Yes.
Every time.
Same here. He's going to get a planes with it, actually. And you're like, wow.
I even do it in limited.
So first you do it, and you go to write down, and then you go, wait, this doesn't cost a life. This card's great. And you're like, wait, it's coming to play tapped. Oh yeah, it's just, okay. And then it's like this really split-second thing that happens for me.
It's really funny. I actually feel like I've lost so many seconds of my life with that moment that it probably has added up to an hour. That might be exaggeration, but still.
That's a lot of Evolving Wilds in terms of expanses
I've been playing a lot of Evolving Wilds over the years. Okay.
There's also the Moto convention where people usually just play them and crack them immediately. I'm not sure why.
I'm not a fan of that one. Turn 3 mana.
No Dungrove, no Predator Ooze, just 2 more damage.
And
Drown Catacomb.
3 mana on the other side.
Nothing for Jansen. All right. Mike kept his hand based on something. He's going to get the chance to play out his stuff.
Turn 4. Here it comes. Gut shot during combat. 2 damage. Gets the 2 in anyway.
Yeah.
Just a different way. Pass. Oh, this is so bad for Mike.
Sounds like Mike kept a hand. Mike kept a hand which is similar to, some Forest and a Strangleroot guy. So he was like, hey, Forest, I'll keep this. And maybe he's drawing Forest. Or some other tragic situation. Blade Splicer comes out from Jansen. Keep leaving black up. He does not have Tragic Slip, though. He does have...
That is awesome. In case you're not sure what that is, that says what it is right at the top.
It says it's a Golem.
That's
it's
right.
A Golem token,
That's an amazing Golem. Pass. The Blade Splicer by itself holding off the Strangleroot Geist. By itself, I suppose it's his friend that is, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Is that an Angel in hand too? Is this just completely locked up for the most part?
Possibly. I mean, it's not totally locked up, but yeah, it's pretty strong. He can always get Revenge of the Hunted.
Okay, Revoke in hand.
Revoke exists. There are actually no artifacts.
Rancor can hit Rancor.
Okay, can hit Rancor. Gonna gut shot at Chance and dealing himself a fair amount of damage here. And Vault of the Archangel into play. All right, now the life loss that Timothy's incurred on himself, not as much of a problem.
5th mana. Is that a 5th mana pass?
Could be. Nope, it's going to be Thrag Tusk. All right, Mike's Thrag Tusk going to get mana leaked. No Thrag Tusk.
No.
All right, yeah.
Only one Thrag Tusk in Mike's main. One more on the board. I would not be surprised if he boarded it in, seeing as we see it cast here. And I cannot see what's happening.
Ponder from Timothy
Ponder?
Jansen.
Okay. Another Blade Splicer, Glacial
land,
Fortress, and a Ponder.
That's almost a certain keep. Maybe
pretty
not
good
the
hand.
land part of it, but you know. Yeah, have a Blade Splicer get into Ponder again next turn. It's great. So yeah, he's going to keep that, drawing Blade Splicer, and make the attack with a 3/3. So for damage now in from Timothy Jansen, and he'll cast the second Blade Splicer. Mike really just still, the problem is he needs to establish some sort of presence here on the board. This first strike in tandem with the Vault of the Archangel is going to be very hard for Mike to deal with.
Revenge of the Hunted. Nope.
That would be a very good draw right here. How about 6th land, Revenge of the Hunted? Can you do that? That could be good enough.
1, 2, 3.
I think so.
4, 5.
5, nope. 5.
Thrag Tusk. Okay, that's 5 life. That's pretty okay.
Good. There's still this problem of like the first strike with Vault.
I wonder what the golems are going to say to that Thrag Tusk.
They're not gonna care.
Is that a bird in hand? Oh, it's a vines, I think.
A what?
A crushing vines in hand.
Okay.
I think.
And then that other
Ponder again. Let's see what we got. Anything better? Land
Glacial Fortress, and a
Restoration Angel, and instead of Batterskull.
That's great.
That's
all right.
pretty okay.
It's a fine.
I will
probably
keep them.
Keep that, I suppose.
Is that a Cavern of Souls in hand? No, it's another. Yeah, Cavern of Souls.
Yes,
okay.
All right. No, excellent.
In with, let's say, some golems. At least one, maybe 2.
Send them both. I want to send them both. I guess Timothy Jansen in no rush here.
So there we see the Batterskull.
So I might have just waited until I had 8 mana for that Batterskull.
Is that no germ?
That's.
He might have
Germ
verbally
token's
announced the germ.
Yeah.
Might have.
Yeah. Remember, keep in mind you do have to actually announce the germ token. It's not a. So Revenge of the Hunted, Miracle now on Thrag Tusk. We'll see what the.
I think you might not have a germ.
We'll see what the call is on this germ token. He's gonna. Well, it gets Crushing Vines anyway. Both swing in. Everybody's gonna jump in front of that Thrag Tusk.
And they all are gonna die.
Yeah.
Zot.
So he's taking 3 from the Stranglegeist. He's taking 11, so the 5 trampling over. Yeah, it's going to be 9 total, dropping Timothy Jansen down to 5. The fact those creatures are gone are going to mean that Vault's going to have to work overtime here.
Goat.
The bigger thing.
No more first strike.
Well, the bigger thing in one,
No more
is
Blade
the
Splicer for the
angel.
Angel.
Can't resto a Blade Splicer.
Oh boy, go to 5. That Angel looks a lot less good. Still looks pretty good, but it still looks a lot less good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jansen in a little
Mike,
bit of a tough spot.
Mike, you are a hero.
What a miracle.
Timothy was smiling a lot at the beginning of this game. He doesn't look as happy anymore.
You know, and I really kind of wish that instead of playing the Batterskull, if you just hold back, then this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because you have a first striking Golem, you have a Vault. So whatever gets. Yeah. You can defend against Revenge of the Hunted at that point. But Timothy Jansen, letting this one go a little bit, gotta not be happy with the. Yeah, as you can see there, not really.
I think he
happy
thought
with
he
the
was
board
so
stuff.
safe that nothing
Yeah.
bad could happen to him.
You know, his opponent was on 5 and wasn't playing anything. Turns out Mike Alakaila only needed 4 spells. Okay, 5. Well, I guess this is the second Thrag Tusk.
What else is there? Rancor? Ooh, Tracker.
Vault Tracker.
I'm a little excited about that.
He's passing the turn, and the Restoration Angel is going to come down.
How's that look? Looks good?
Yeah, I'm not sure I like passing the turn there, but
right
okay.
now I can hear a cowboy from Kid Rock in the background. And I kind of feel like that Tracker is a cowboy. Death Touch is real. It makes fighting a little bit harder.
So still a game that can go either way, though. Jansen's in a bit of trouble here. I still kind of, yeah. Mike, if I'm Mikey, you got to get this damage in, because the longer this game goes on, if Timothy can rebuild a board presence, the Vault of the Archangel will still pull this game out for Timothy Jansen. So Timothy, probably not safe to swing at all, is just going to have to hang back for a little bit. The Uvenvault Tracker doesn't pose too big of a problem. Well, the bigger problem the Uvenvault Tracker poses, I guess it's not too much of one. Yeah. If he can, if Mike can get down
The
a
tracker
bigger creature.
now that he's untapped, what the tracker can do is the tracker can respond to the vault.
Right, but the thing is, both of Timothy's creatures kill Mike's outright without the death touch. So
That's fair.
That's
fair.
what I mean. But yes, if Mike plays something like Dungrove Elder, tracker will become very relevant. And speaking of, and this we have and Predator is down. Okay.
Oh my goodness, this is a good match of Magic. Go, says Mike.
I think he's going to set up the Thrag Tusk to fight with Restoration Angel. And by passing the turn, he's blanking a lot of Timothy's mana if Timothy wants to hold open a vault.
Oh, the ooze.
Now, ooze, recall, gets a counter whenever it attacks.
Whenever it attacks, and whenever it
creature,
damages,
right?
or whenever it kills a creature.
Whenever it kills a creature, so it has to kill it. Has to eat the creature.
It's not actually that difficult for it to do that. Oh, is he going to do something at the end of turn here? Oh, no, maybe not. And Mike, not miracling, apparently.
Alright, so, did you draw another revenge?
Okay. I'm pretty sure he would have just miracled it.
Alright, no, he said not miracling. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. He also chose not to fight on end step.
In comes the ooze.
Mike's playing this very safely. I'm not... Well, he can't block the ooze, because the Uvenvault Tracker will kill anything then, because the ooze can double fight.
Fight.
So Timothy... I mean, Timothy, this ooze is going to become a problem very quickly. And he can block with Angel. That's not going to do much, so...
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Mike Alcal will probably likely make them fight. Again. And we're gonna vault for life gain. He's gonna vault the Angel. And yeah, he'll fight in response here.
Poink.
All right.
Dead Angel.
The Dead Angel. Yep.
And does gain 3 life for Timothy Jansen, and the ooze becomes a little bit more, just
a little bigger.
More difficult to handle.
Well, I mean, the next attack should should deal. Okay, Mike did not respond to the lifelink trigger, so the lifelink did get to happen twice.
We do have a Phantasmal image, which I think is going to make sense as a Thrag Tusk.
Oh yeah, I mean, it has to be a Thrag Tusk. It's going to get killed as anything else.
I mean, it's not exciting, but it does something.
Yeah, its predators could get very, very dicey.
I mean, the thing is that if Timothy doesn't put down another creature, the tracker can have the ooze during combat fight the golem, so that the ooze is going to become a 5/5. The Thrag Tusk with it will be 5 power. So actually, he could kill Timothy next turn.
Attacking with the golem.
Wow, what is going on?
I do not understand. I'll just take it. Yeah, 19. Okay, 16.
Image. Does that work?
Copies.
No responses? Okay, it's going to be a Thrag Tusk.
I think so. We'll check. We'll check to see what it's on.
The long game versus an ooze is a rough one. Gain 5 life.
All right, so Jansen now at 16.
God, I love ooze.
I mean, ooze tracker is just very powerful.
This door opened by Timothy Jansen tapping out to Batterskull.
So Mike Kyla here on 6 lands. Yeah, in command.
The ooze comes in, is now a 4/4.
So I feel like at this point, Mike needs to decide whether or not he wants his creatures to attack or block. The problem is his Thragtusks and Geist are not attacking, and they're not blocking the Golem token. It's like they're not there. He needs to commit to make them do one of the two.
Just 4 damage, says Mike. That's fine.
Yeah,
Which I think actually is something I agree with in this moment.
Yep. And then he's gonna wait. He's gonna poke the image because it's not actually real.
Looking for something. An Oblivion Ring would be a great card to draw here.
A way to kill Tracker would be good. Not, that too.
In comes Thragtusk copy.
Yes, in comes fake Thragtusk. It's got to do something about it. I mean, tracker it, do something, but you can't actually just don't open the starting and go to 11. Yes, he's got to make his creatures attacker.
That.
No, well, I mean, his creatures aren't attacking or blocking right now. You have to do one of the two. Yeah, I think he can't decide what he wants his Thragtusk and Stranglegeist to do.
Wow. Well, I mean, he could be just going for the kill here, right? He's saying to himself by that play, he's saying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill your golem and then try to kill you.
Sure. I think we have a Restoration Angel drawn by Timothy Jansen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Which remember, can poke the phantasmal image if he wants. Which probably, or you can do that. You can get the golem.
Let's see, the tracker going to hit the golem.
Doesn't do anything.
Now, you don't get to grow yet. Don't grow yet. Don't grow yet. An angel might save the golem from killing by the predator ooze.
No, it'll just die, looks like.
I mean, like, the angel will still kill the golem, but the ooze won't get bigger.
Yeah. Don't feed the ooze.
Okay, 5/5 ooze. Wait, he says. Snapcaster.
Mage on gut shot for Wolfenvault Tracker. Mike's got to not let this game get away from him. And now that means there's no way for Mike to get a free kill on that phantasmal image.
Well, hopefully this 5/5 ooze will do all the work it needs. It's going to be a 6/6 when it attacks.
Remember, Jansen with a Restoration Angel for the Snapcaster Mage.
This is a Maul to 5 from Mike Alakela. And Mike Alakela drawing. Okay, no miracle again.
No miracle. I'm gonna go with
Rancor.
Rancor on Predators. Okay.
All the eggy wags. But you know what? It's a good basket. It's a good basket. Everybody.
All right. All right, so now we have an 8/6 Trampling Predator.
Restoration Angel would be a fairly solid defensive play here. Restoration Angel to target the Phantasmal image to make a 3/3 beast to put a bunch of stuff into play.
Remember, Timothy Jansen does have a Revoke Existence in his hand. This is the only target for it, so presumably it will be revoked next turn. Blocking Thragtusk with Snapcaster Mage, that's not enough. That doesn't save him, does it?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be the Angel. Okay, before blocks. Angel. Targeting. That works, that works. Remember, the vault is out there. Vault of the Archangel. And what is the card that he's casting from the graveyard? I cannot see. Apparently it is not a Vapor Snag, it's a Dismember? Dismember.
Alright, so that Rancor threatening pretty bad here. So he's gonna get to vault back. Maybe can he keep enough alive
This is 12 damage.
How much damage? Yeah, and how much on the swing back for Timothy Jansen? If Jansen swings back, he has 10 power, and he has a vault. He's gonna beast within his own Thrag Tusk to get 2 3/3s.
Wait, what?
No, it's good. It gets 2 3/3s.
Okay, after blocks. Okay.
Okay. All right. So.
We're trying to see what happened over there with the card that was off screen. What was
So we have two days in, half of a days in pad, 2 tokens now.
half of a day's in pad. Go for the throat was the card that was brought back.
Okay, so 2 beast tokens for Mike.
That makes
Two beast
a
tokens
lot
play
more
for
sense
Mike
than a
Alex Kyle.
dismember. We're trying to figure out what was happening there.
What's going to have to happen here is that we need to hope that there's enough life gain off this Vault of the Archangel to keep Timothy Jansen going, which there could be. He's going to revoke the Rancor.
Existence on the Rancor.
Sure.
Vault.
And you have to vault here. You're at 2. Don't play whatever other card you're
Lingering
thinking about
Souls
playing.
would be not.
Okay, I will accept Lingering Souls as a valid answer here. But if it's anything else, I'm going to frown if you're going to cast it.
And they're coming in for 10 if he comes in with everything.
So without the Rancor, Timothy has it. Remember, he's going to have to block everything. Well, unless he vaults. Have some Blackstreet playing in the background for all of you listening here.
It's impressive how loud the wedding is next to us. In comes the Angel by itself.
Just Angel, knock him to 3. I think he's hoping to Alpha Strike.
I think he's thinking about block.
Turn.
Oh, maybe not.
All right, Blade Splicer. But now Vault is down.
Gosh.
Now I would like
that Golem is the best Golem of all time. Wait a second. And
another Rancor!
Off the top!
Off the top, second Rancor. And
I was like, it's a miracle. Well, kind of.
And another Viridian Corruptor of the Golem. I think this is lethal.
Oh, that is.
And you can't block the
5,
Predators.
6, 7, 8, 9 trampling coming out.
Too much.
Okay, there's a. Oh.